Absolutely, everyone. Welcome to our show tonight. This is Let's Talk Oconee SC. I'm Jazzy Jeff. First of all, along with Rainey Bond, who is live on location from our great state of Virginia this evening. And ladies and gentlemen, Yerba Rules, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ruin. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our show tonight. There you are. Chris was supposed to be ready, and now there you go. Are you ready, Chris?
What the hell is that?
I have no idea. Hey, Chris, you need to unmute your microphone. Cannot unmute your guest. Their mic is not connected. Rainey, you're here. Me and you are here.
All right, yeah. My phone just went and fell out. I don't know what happened. Weird. All right.
Yeah, we're waiting for Chris right now. We just lost Rainey here. But welcome into the show. We have a real big show for you tonight here on the program. We've got a lot to talk about here. Tonight we're going to be discussing Planning Commission information update. Also, last night, Rainey, we had a kind of a, I wouldn't say it was a sad moment, but it was a little, okay. You can leave it like that if you need to, if you want to leave your camera like that.
All right, what's going on here? I'm having trouble hearing you.
I have no idea. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a real bad echo. I'm not sure. But anyway, keep going.
Okay. All right. Hold on just a second. Let me check something real quickly here in the video screen. There we go. That's good. Okay. Can you hear me now, Chris? I do not hear Chris at all. I got Rainey. I hear you, but I do not hear Chris. I'm waiting on Chris to come back. Give us just a few moments. We're working through the technology here. Rainey, I got you loud and clear.
All right, I was getting some reverb from the car, so I turned the car off.
Okay, that may be where you're at. Chris, I still don't have you. It says your microphone is muted. Can't unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected.
Way to go, Chris. Way to go. So much for being progressive.
This is an audio issue on Chris's side right now. His microphone will not unmute, and he's working on it. I tell you what, Rainey.
For all of us.
Do what now?
That's good for all of us.
Hey, it was working fine just a few moments ago, and then all of a sudden, now he's gone completely. All right, last night, county council meeting, kind of a sad night a little bit. That was Paul Kane, who is a county councilman, District 3 representative. It was actually his last council meeting of the year for him, and what a tremendous asset he has been to Oconee County.
He truly has been. I wish I'd have been there to see that and lend my support. But, I had to come up here to Virginia and do this family business. But
by the way, our thoughts with you and what you're going through now. And we hope that things, it always is very tough this kind of year with the potential of losing a family member. But our thoughts and prayers are with you.
I appreciate that. I really do. But I did want to make sure that I took some time and come out here and listen to Chris.
Chris, we got you, buddy.
Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Unfortunately.
We can hear you, Chris. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you off my.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now.
Turn this off if I.
And just do it this way. That's okay.
Yep, we're good.
What is on your face?
It's my beard, man. My manly man beard.
Oh my gosh.
There's no gaps. There's no gaps at all. Check it out.
November's over.
That's not November, man. It's just the way man to man is, This is
all
where
right.
Europe is.
Let's get up to speed.
What do we got? got to
Well-
talk about? We talked about the.
Let me get up to speed real quick on some things to set the scene,
Yeah.
and then we'll get started.
Because he got chastised.
Okay, here we go. As we were discussing while you were rudely interrupting us with your technical difficulties, we were talking about Paul Kane last meeting last night, and he had a great crowd turn out to wish him well. And again, thanks to Paul for all of what he has done, particularly for his many hours of work with the Utica Mill Village and just in the city of Seneca with District 3. And, of course, he leaves office at the end of the year, but last night was his last official council meeting. And kind of a little sad news last night watching him last night. He's done such a good job for District 3.
You know what? He's a decent man with a lot of integrity. I think a lot of him.
What's he going to do now?
He's going to work.
Hey, I'd love to see somebody like him be governor.
Oh,
I'd cross lines for that.
Governor
Wow.
Paul Kane. I like the idea. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no
I
kidding.
don't know if his wife and family would like it, but I like the idea of Governor Paul Kane.
And I'm being serious.
well, the Republican Party's looking for a new chairman in April.
Really?
Wait a minute. We already still have one. His name's David McMahon. What are you talking about?
No,
Hey, can
no.
I run? Can I run as a Democrat?
Well, I mean, they ran as Dixiecrats.
Well, you could call me Dixie. Can I run?
You put the thick in Dixie, didn't you?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, come on, man. They're all my friends. They might not like my stances, but we can high five before and everything. That's good.
Bring your little hand.
Oh man.
Chris, let's go ahead and jump in with you tonight on the broadcast. Let's talk
Yeah.
about things that are happening. And if you would for us tonight, there has been so much misconception, information that's been floating around. Explain exactly what we're looking at and what we're trying to accomplish. I know that you've been working with the Planning Commission. You've made 2 presentations, but set it up for us so that people can actually hear the real truth and not what's being made up.
Okay. So first of all, I did my second presentation Monday night, and Don Mize was in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't talk to him, but I can tell you something. I think he's a solid guy. He actually listened to me respectfully. I could tell he was thinking about what I was saying. And I know before, I disagreed with some of it, but what I thought. But I tell you what, it's a clean slate. I think, and that's no offense to your candidacy. I mean, I think it was a choice between 2 good people, and Don's a solid guy. I also know, as you know, Frankie and I had kind of a rocky start. I think that's like that in any friendship, but we're best friends. And I'll tell you what, he's a good guy. I thought when I was doing these presentations that it'd be like, oh no, Frankie listens. Pat Williams listens too. So does Teresa. She listens. These guys are listening. Now, obviously the one with the OCC is not, but they understand. And as I keep talking about it, it's getting to the point they say, we understand what you're talking about. That's important. So what I want to make sure that every citizen in this county knows is right now we have a situation where we really lack any type of standards and controls.
Mm-hmm.
I am not advocating any type of solution at all. People say, well, he's pushing zoning. I'm not pushing squat. But what I'm doing is I'm approaching this just like I did in business, just like I did with a consultant, where I'm trying to understand how much risk do we have in this county for taxpayers when we have an implosion in infrastructure. Because right now in Greenville, and I beat that dead horse. Actually, the one that advised me on that was Randy. And I'm glad because people are sensitized to it. Yeah, it's true. Because right now in Greenville County, they're paying $121 million just for Woodruff Road. And what I did not know before the meeting, and then I looked it up, that $121 million is being paid by taxpayers That won't even be done until 2029. All of this is because they had poor planning standards that incidentally were better than what we have. So people will look at this, and now you see the misinformation machine like, oh, we're not having the growth as expected. It doesn't matter. We have things already in place that are creating a risk for our county. If you have a law, which I don't believe it, looking at these subdivisions, you have an opportunity to try to control what takes place, to actually ride the train instead of being pulled in a radio flyer wagon when things take off, okay? So what I've advocated is very clear. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Let's cut through all the crap, make sure people understand what is the risk to you. We're not talking about presenting to you, we're going to do this, or we need to do this. We're going to talk to you and say, if we continue on this path that is analyzed and presented by professionally certified urban rural planners who work across the country, this is what the penalty is going to be to you in quality of life and financial costs and taxpayers. And I believe that number, based on everything that I hear, where these planning commissioners have spoken out this year and just seeing what's going on, I believe it's well in the range of $75 to $150 million over 10 years. And people need to remember, they will have to pay that through bonds or whatever, but nobody's giving us that money, okay? And what will happen is good people, younger than me and older than me, will get to the point where they've worked their entire lives and all they've cared about is putting food on the table and taking care of their families. They will lose their homes, okay? So here is what's going to happen. We were going to get funding for this analysis. It's going to be an impact analysis statement. They will study what's going on. They'll see what we're doing, and they will make a presentation, and it'll be a high level, and it can get down to very detailed. Folks, what you're doing right now is set you up for this and this and this. As a consequence, it will cost you this, this, and this. Quality of life is qualitative, so it'll be this. But what they will be charged with in the statement of work that I will help with is I want it to be translated to dollars. Nobody can deal with soft things like, oh, the government's taking over. No. I want to know right now for our citizens and our neighbors, if we don't act and do anything, it's going to cost you this much money. Then people at that point can make a decision. They will look at it and say, well, that's not right, and I don't want you guys to do anything. Well, the planning commission and the council can simply say, okay, we don't have to do anything right. It's really up to you. But be aware, we have communicated to you that this is what is going to happen. And we're not doing anything now. We're just giving you the information so you can be informed, because right now, all this misinformation coming out by this special interest group has people confused. I don't believe what they're saying, but people are confused. Who are they going to believe? Are they going to believe? I'm not from here. I grew up in a town smaller than Seneca, but I have friends. I've got good neighbors, but you got a small minority that's controlling the narrative. And what I want to do, I want to cut out all the smoke and all the bullshit and get to the point where citizens, here are the facts, objective people. And if they're not going to provide objective information, I'll know, and then we'll fire them. We won't pay them. We'll get the right people. Apolitical, facts, deliver the facts. No story, no political leaning. We want to know what it's going to be to hurt Oconee citizens, period.
All right. Rainey, I'm going to go ahead and let you answer that, and I'll come back with comments.
All right, so I've got some folks that have been beating me up about your plan at the planning commission. And they're not against the fact that we need a risk assessment. They're not against the fact that we need a plan. But they're not sold on the use of an outside entity, a consultant group, instead of hiring an urban planner for the county that we keep long term and allowing him to do that. Now, I haven't been very successful in articulating the difference and why we need an outside group of people that comes, gives it, and goes away, instead of being able to invest in an urban planner that we pay from the county that stays with the county. So you want to talk about that?
Yes. Okay. So let's think about this for a second. We have a planner that runs a planning department that's got a master's degree. I met the guy. I think he's a decent guy. But here's the problem. The politics in this county with this special interest group is horrendous. You get a urban planner and hire him on the payroll. You think about what you're costing plus benefits, set the cost apart. What is going to happen when you hire a professional urban planner that's got to sit there and say he knows about these things? Is that going to make something to the point where he or she is going to actually be able to make headway in this politically charged environment? No. What we do is we hire people that what they want to do is they want to come in and actually help us plan. They know things because they work around all these cities and rural communities around the country. The problems we're facing and they've seen, it's their job. That's all they do. They are not governed by the politics or the infighting by this special interest group. They're going to be hired to do one thing, give us this analysis, period.
So what you're saying is that if the county was to hire somebody full-time to be an urban planner, if they delivered a negative statement to the council, something that the council didn't like, they'd fire them. And
oh yeah, absolutely. They're not going to listen to people. People are going to say, well, that's the council telling that planner. That planner is owned by Glenn Hart, or that planner is owned by Elliott. No. What this is apolitical professionals. Then what's going to happen is they're going to talk. And what's going to happen is they're going to be people. I won't like what they're going to say. I strongly believe it's going to confirm my fears. These people won't like it. And you know why? Because the misinformation we're getting now, zero data. The government's trying to take over, blah, blah. That is 100% crap. You need objectivity.
I saw some things the other day, real quick, Jeff. I saw some things the other day. Some folks were trying to use census data between 2010 and 2020, but really our growth didn't start to really take off until COVID hit and people were leaving the cities and coming out here, and that's when I feel like we started seeing more and more of the New York and Florida tags in the county.
Right. Well, the other thing too is this is a discussion that suspended Councilman Durham and I had last Saturday on Facebook. He talked about a number of 4%, and he was riding that horse. It's one cherry pick data point that could come out that basically doesn't tell me squat. When I'm working as a consultant, somebody says that to me, I said, yeah, so what? What does that mean? What does that mean if you forget that number and what's taking place right now? Do we have any problems now? No, everything's fine. Well, that's not true. I don't believe it. I'm not a professional, but I do know these professionals will be able to quickly get at it and tell us the risk. And people need to understand after that, it is their decision. It is the people's decision whether to say, holy crap, I can't afford that. What do I do? If you want to do something, you have to support hiring professionals to help. Because at the same time, when the statement of work, these professionals are going to be required to teach our planners. They have skill sets that we don't have. Every time I would consult, I was expected to teach at the same time. So we're going to get a lot more benefit, but that's only after, if we do something around planning that the people of Oconee County commit to and want to happen. It's not going to be shoved down their throat. But what they will be expected to do, guys, you can ignore it all you want, but here's the penalty. So never tell us or never tell people, well, I didn't know about it, because you're going to have the straight facts. And after that, we might even dump these guys and then hire another group that we get a better deal with that can do the same thing, but actually do the planning. Nothing is cast in concrete other than getting somebody to tell us the truth.
Let me interject here. And this I have a comment. I have a comment that just came into us, and Eddie writes 123 in Seneca, all lanes, turning lanes, including from Miracle Circle all the back to Soleil, and all the way back to Walmart. Is this truly what we want Oconee to become to? Yes, we need this to figure out where we're going in the future. Eddie makes a great comment because, Rainey, you also said something too about COVID. And I can speak personally for this. You would have thought that COVID would have stopped the progression. Things would have died down. Well, it didn't, particularly for Seneca's case. Seneca continued to go through COVID wide open with development. And the tornado came through April the 13th of 2020. The tornado didn't stop anything. If any, it increased the amount of home construction. We had new subdivisions going in. Take a look at what's going on right now with the Westminster area. They're getting 2 major new subdivisions. So the 4% deal that you were fighting with, Chris, with the suspended councilman, that is minute. This development goes beyond 4%. We have businesses to take account that's come in here. If you drive 123 to Clemson, take a look at the county line. We have development there. We have student housing that's went up in just the last 2 years. It's continuing to climb. So if we don't do something now and we start making honest to God answers, looking at this and planning, then the next 10 years, we're in trouble. Maybe in the next 5 years.
Well, all right, so Randy, go ahead. But I want to tell one story after you go ahead.
No. But let's just look out. You go down there off Route 11 to the Heritage Memorial Gardens, and you take a right. I think it's
Mountain View Road.
Yeah, Little Mountain View or Critter. I don't know which way it goes there.
Mountain View Road.
Out there, and on the left-hand side of the road going toward Westminster, they got this big bald dirt spot.
Yep.
They're going to they've got permission, and they've got sewer coming from Westminster to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come right out that road, out the East Bennett, or however it goes, right? 300 houses right there going to hook up to county sewer.
Yep.
Well, every vacant lot, every pile of trees from there back to the sewer plant becomes eligible to be developed because
absolutely
there's city sewer coming that way. Now, if water follows sewer, and you can get a half an acre and lot on all them trees that are getting cut down on past Plant Road and East Bennett and all that, and you get out there and there's some big old places that are for sale that have got a lot of acreage with them that are prime for development. Now,
absolutely,
it might not happen today, but it might take 15 years for that to happen because somebody's got a 20-acre farm out there, decides that he wants to move into town and don't want to raise cows no more. Well, the first eligible person to buy that wants to develop it and put 30 houses on it.
Well, what about Fairplay right now with Sewer South?
There you go.
Anywhere you can tap into a sewer line and get water is going to be developable. And if you don't believe that, go to some of these places that where I lived in San Antonio. The housing development that I lived in, Villages of West Creek, had 3,500 homes in it on less than 600 acres. And they're side by side, they're 10 feet apart. 10 feet apart.
Let me give you guys an example. I use this with the Planning Commission. I think it surprised them. First of all, Jeff is right. And I talked to these guys privately last night, and I'm going to tell you guys, not you guys, I told them, I said, I'm going to tell you, people talk about the lake. Nobody gives a crap about the lake. The lake is political suicide if you talk about doing it. Now, I know some people think about doing condos and crap, but nobody cares. The issue is out in the county. Where
acres on the lake, I'd do condos.
Well,
you won't do condos around here on this lake.
Well, wait, come on, guys, come on.
It's been tried before. It's been tried before, and it failed miserably because there was a lot of people that raised hell. Mar-a-Lago condos up here is what we used to call it. They were going to build a 12 high-rise condo right close to where Chris lives, up on the lake, just across the creek from where you are at, Chris. He
sounds like a Marxist.
That Chris Ruin? Yeah, he is.
No, not me, Randy. Okay, so let me. Okay, so here's what's important. I'm gonna tell you guys, and these guys, it surprised these guys, because this is data that this special interest group can look up. So when you listen to the suspended Councilman Durham, I think he's all wet. I don't think he knows what he's well. I think he knows what he's talking about, but I think he's pushing misinformation for an agenda like all these guys. I want to deal in facts. Period. I'm going to give you an example. 2 miles from my house, I bought 12 acres from Crescent, and I was looking at it, rooting around in the forest. I thought, hey man, I could maybe make some money and create some property for my sisters, build a house or whatever. So what happened? It's across from two lake subdivisions on a very small road, curvy road. I bought that, okay, unrestricted. I closed within 2 to 3 weeks. I had an offer from a developer in Florida, and the reason is, believe it or not, they've been sniffing around that property. And when I bought the property, I was presented with a plan, and the plan allowed for 40 mobile home sites. Okay, 40. People would have never gotten out of there, but it was unrestricted. So I bought this property and this lake, a couple of these lake subdivisions. Every time I'd be out there by the road looking, when I owned it, they gave me the stink eye. Well, I told the truth. I talked to the president one night, whoever was president of one of those subdivisions, and she came over. Hey, you're the owner. I said, yeah. I said, what's the deal with everybody giving me the stink eye? Well, they're concerned about what you're going to build. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, they are. And I said, well, I got an offer, which was the truth. It was double what I paid for it within 3 weeks. And I said, and they want to put 42 mobile homes on it. And they had done their own due diligence. She said, well, you live in the Lake subdivision up the road from us. And she was a little irritated. And I said, I got another way to leave. I'll never have to look at them. Well, at that point, the conversation stopped, but I knew I wasn't going to sell it. But all of a sudden, people started waving at me. And what I did is I didn't create a subdivision. I created 7 home sites. And I put my own restrictions into the deed of every single home site. The same restrictions I put in this community that we have in this community with a smaller lot. You know, well, I had smaller lots, but smaller homes. Now, these people are protected. You have like homes in a like area, but I did that and I made money in the end. You have very, very few developers that are going to do that. You
So
can't blame them.
Now can I interject and give you an argument?
Yeah.
What about the people that were born here that lived on the lake?
On the where?
On the lake. What about the people that grew up here? Because here it comes. I'm playing devil's advocate with you, Chris.
I don't.
Here
No,
it
that's
comes.
fine.
Here
Yeah,
it
but
comes.
I mean, go ahead.
Because
Tell
I
me.
grew up here. And they're changing the way of our life. And all of those people from up north are coming down. Here it comes. This is what the point I'm trying to
Well,
make.
change. Okay, and that's a valid argument. The argument, I'm telling you something. My wife is from Greenville.
I know.
They never had anybody, and I'm not from here. I'm from the Midwest in a small town. If you want to talk about people that don't trust people, talk about Midwesterners. I mean, you talk about this like they're not from here. They're 10 times worse. I just happen to like people and talk a lot. So
That's
here's
true.
the thing.
You can talk a lot.
But-
That's why I'm on the show.
But here's the thing about that. This stuff about, well, the people are coming here. The only reason people are coming here is because it's something to buy here.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
No, they're coming here because it's cheap.
Not because it's cheap. It's because
Well,
it's
not-
for sale.
Not cheap. Not now.
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Property taxes and everything, if you take a look where people are moving from, they come here and property, they don't mind $200,000, $300,000 because they're only going to pay $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in property taxes.
Yeah,
when they're
well,
paying $7,000 to $10,000
true.
where they're at.
But
I paid double the taxes in a house that was worth 10, maybe 70% less when I was in El Paso, Texas. I paid double home taxes there.
Oh yeah, I paid on the house I had in Texas. I was paying $7,000 a year in property tax, and it didn't have a yard.
But let me make a point. Jeff,
I got two properties in Oconee County right now, and I'm not even paying $1,800.
well, you're like Yellowstone, man.
So,
You got all that property.
but,
You know, you're like Mr. Dutton.
but here's the thing. People are coming here because there's something to buy. No matter what the tax rate is, if people don't want other people coming here, stop selling your daddy's farms.
You're
Stop
right,
it.
Randy. But and you're right. And Jeff, you're right. But I want to ask you something.
Learn to farm your homestead farms. Stop having daughters who sell the farm and move to Myrtle Beach. That's how you stop people moving in. Stop selling property.
Because
okay, so Jeff, it's my turn.
Go.
You are absolutely right. But think how myopic that vision is. Think about this. If you have somebody that feels like that, you're never going to change their mind. They're very narrow-minded. But I can tell you something. They sure as hell like the money people bring in that give them jobs, and they sure like the doctors and the care that comes in, so they don't have to go to Greenville. That's what draws people. That's what helps and protects their families. And the thing about it is, my opinion, guys, and I'll tell you the honest God truth, this is why this special interest group doesn't bother me in the least. I worked for everything I have, and I'm willing to give back to the community. I didn't get anything for free. There are people in this community that inherited a lot of land. They got a lot more money. I don't begrudge them, but when they start that crap where you're not from here, you know what, guys? I've worked around the world. I've got a lot of good ideas, but most importantly to the people listening to this, I actually care about Oconee County and the citizens. And I don't care whether I'm from New York, Oregon, or whatever. I care. And I know BS when I see it. And you're being handed a bill of goods. And the only thing I'm doing is pushing the truth. I want you to understand how you're going to get hosed. I'll be gone or close to it. Hell, Randy will be visiting me in a nursing home, and hell, I'll be slurping coffee and falling all over it. But I will remember to say, I told you so.
We're not visiting you in a nursing home, Chris. That's out of the question.
Well, all right.
I'll come see you, bud. I'll come see you.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
But you talk about how myopic that thought process is with the special interest group. But, you know, if we take it back to 1870, I think that was...
No, 1868. That's better.
But if you go back beyond that, when all the immigrants really started coming here, and do you think that the Cherokee Indians and the Creeks and the Oconee Indians were feeling the exact same way when the white people came to the county?
Oh, it didn't matter what they thought. Nobody cared what they thought. What you're saying is absolutely true. But people haven't.
Group really think that people are going to gather together and put them on a dirt road and slap a wagon and send them to Oklahoma?
You know what? The special interest group.
What would we call it?
It has a political agenda, personal agendas. That is it.
What I'm saying is that's how stupid it sounds.
It is stupid.
But guys,
we're gonna put the OCC down the Trail of Tears. That's not good.
But wait a minute. But guys, we're talking about this special interest group that changes the narrative as much as I change my underwear. Because if we'll go back a few months, the narrative was we've got to protect the farmland. We've got to do all of this for the farmland. And then if you listen to the comments and the rhetoric that started imploding, it started changing.
Sure.
So it changes.
When the farmers started agreeing with zoning, when the farmers started agreeing, that rhetoric had to change.
Yes.
Oops, we fired up the farmers. That was not the reaction we intended.
That's right.
Now, damn it, what do we do?
We go back and we change the narrative.
I came from a farming community. You know, I mean, you got places like Shipshewana up there that's been so commercialized. I mean, it's crazy. I wasn't a farmer. I came from a planting community. what I'm talking about on this impact statement, this is to help the farmers, to protect the land. Right now, they're getting pulled in multiple directions. They don't know what to do. These guys, like Jeff said, and they change. Well, hell, are you for me like that? Oh no, it's crazy. So what you do, you have to get to a baseline that does a comprehensive analysis across the entire county. Because there was the ex-chairman that got fired that you had, just as late as January or February. I was on Facebook when I first started understanding how this group was. He says, "Oh, I remember you when you wrote that zoning letter and you wanted to take land from farmers."
Yeah.
That was the one where I was threatened. My life was threatened because I talked about economies of scale and protecting children with development and warehouses stuff where some kid can get run over when he's trying to ride their bike. It's all crazy stuff. So what makes them nervous, and I will say that because they're all watching the show or will be, especially because they know I've got a beard and they want to see it. But I tell you what bothers them. What bothers them is they know my message is getting through. Because my message is open and honest. And I'm telling citizens, you've been fed so much bullshit over the years. It's time to get a baseline. You need to get the truth from somebody that I give you my word on this show, and I volunteer. I will hold the feet of the consultants to the fire. And if I even sniff there's any political crap being played with them behind the scenes, I don't know where it's coming from, I will make damn sure it's out. There you go. There you go.
Put that upside down pineapple away. What is
that?
All right, guys, we need to go ahead and wrap this segment up here. And I
just want to make sure, and I appreciate. I got people listening that never listen.
Well, that's why I wanted you to have this discussion, because we needed to clear the air about what you're trying to do and your plan so people can hear it. And if they watch the show again, we can point it to them and say, hey, look, if you want to hear everything about what this envision or this plan is, then we can share this show right here with them and they can listen to it. If they're taking an active interest in Oconee, they will learn, they will start asking questions, and they're not going to be a part. They want to be a part of the solution and to help this situation and not turn it around and go backwards with it.
Wait, let me just say one last thing as we wrap it up. So when you look at this planning commission, and I'm saying this for a reason, because I'm very, very happily surprised. But this Frankie Pearson, he's got it. This lady that I met, Teresa Spicer, she understands. This Pat Williams, his lights go off. And these other guys, they understand. You have the one that's chartered with the OCC. I can read it. He's concerned because they're starting to listen to that message. And I will never, never blow smoke at the citizens of this county. I want to understand the truth. And that's it. Thank you.
Rainey, final comments on the planning?
Yeah, we're trying to help. We're trying to help the county. If you don't want people coming here, stop selling your farms. You don't have to get on the Trail of Tears. We're going to help you stay.
Perfect. All right. Got some news updates that happened this afternoon. An investigation by the Criminal Investigation School Safety Bureau has led to the arrest of a Seneca woman on the charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. 23-year-old Emily Tannery was booked into the Oconee County Detention Center. That happened Tuesday after being taken into custody on yesterday morning. Tannery was released from jail Tuesday afternoon on a $10,000 personal PR bond. An investigator was contacted Monday, December the 5th by an employee of the school district of Oconee County in regards to an unusual behavior between Tannery and a minor that was brought to the attention of the school district on Sunday, December the 4th. Upon further investigation after the consultations with the 10th Circuit Solicitor's Office, an arrest warrant was obtained against Tannery. As the investigation continued and evidence was gathered in the case, it was determined that Tannery exchanged text messages with a child in an attempt to elicit inappropriate responses from the child. Now, the investigation only involved one victim, and the victim is a child. At this time, investigators do not believe any physical acts occurred between Tannery and the child, and also investigators believe at this time that this is an isolated incident. The Oconee County Sheriff's Office is continuing its investigation in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation and the victim. The Sheriff's Office will not release the information any further, and that was released this afternoon by Master Deputy Jimmy Watt, Public Information Officer of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office. Folks, it's getting bad.
That woman has the right to her day in court.
Yeah, that is true.
As long as I'm chairman, I will rule this place. All right. That's terrible. Absolutely effing horrible. There's enough people in this county that's of age that are doing things with animals and horses and stuff that she could have found somebody else to play with.
I want to explain that real quick. Now, wait a minute. Don't laugh,
I'm
Rainey.
not saying anything. I'm just like, wow.
Rainey is actually telling of something that did happen up in Mountain Rest.
I didn't know that.
There's plenty of sexual in this county.
Yes.
She did not got to mess with the children.
They're actually, you're talking about bestiality?
I don't know
what
what
he's saying.
I don't know what he's doing with a horse in the bedroom, but his wife was pissed about it.
Yep.
That's
there was a horse. That's a true story. There was a horse in the bedroom at a residence in Mountain Rest. Was this about 3 years ago?
Well, it was the same time that the suspended councilman's video dropped.
So I'd take it back about coming up on 2 years.
August the 13th or 15th or something, I was told by FPS that video that I released would live in infamy. So I'll remember the date, August something. But anyway, we got bus drivers messing with kids, we got teachers messing with kids, we got resource officers messing with kids. And now I just hope they know which church to go to get the lenient sentences in the end.
Yeah. We're aware of those.
That's crazy.
I've got a 10-year-old son that is in elementary school, and I can only hope and pray that I'm correct when I say those teachers and folks at his school would not do that and only have his best interest in mind, because I love every one of them teachers for the things they do for him. And I would be absolutely devastated if something like that was to happen to my child.
You know, a funny, interesting thing.
Burning school down. I don't understand why not up there raising all kind of heck at the school board office, wanting somebody to be torched and tarred and feathered like that one fella said I should have been.
Well, here's something that's interesting about all of this is that on the comments that's been posted today that I've seen, particularly with this story hitting News 4 WYFF, everybody seems to think, well, why did they do a background check? I hope they understand that a background check is not going to show anything, okay? People just need to understand that you can post the background check. When did they do it? Well, they did do a background check, but if they commit the act while they're employed or whatnot, it's not going to show a background check, only if they're convicted of something.
But it didn't say that this lady was a teacher.
No, it just said, according to the news release, it was brought to the attention. Nope, she was employed by the school district of Oconee County.
But she wasn't a teacher.
Well, they didn't say that.
It doesn't say. It just says an investigator was contacted December 5th by an employee of the school district of Oconee County in regards to an unusual behavior between Tannery and a minor that was brought to the attention of the school district. So let me clarify that. It really doesn't say she was employed. It was just brought to the attention of the school district. So, hey, the school district gets 100% effort for this. I mean, they got something of this caliber. They reported it. They did exactly as they were supposed to do in this situation. They get an A.
I appreciate that. I wish they would have did that for them kids trying to write them songs about the teacher killing that teacher, though.
Well, you do make a very valid point. So, all right, it is, we've got about probably 60 more minutes left in the show, and I kind of wanted to take this last half of the segment, and I want to share a couple of things. We all know that on, was it Monday? It was Monday night that the Republican Party here in Oconee County had a meeting with the executive committee members, and you attended, Rainey, that meeting. And some things happened during that meeting. So what I want to do real quickly is I have an actual video clip, and we're going to go to about a 2-minute clip that I'm going to air for you. And I want to let folks know that watch this video. Unfortunately, the audio is not the greatest when you listen to it. But there's some things in here that I'm going to set it up. Jim Mann is conducting this meeting, and there is a conversation that breaks out between him and former, now he was the former treasurer, right? Mickey Haney?
Yeah.
Or secretary?
I don't know. The former steering committee.
Okay.
They did all kind of things, and you never knew because they didn't communicate well. Well,
what we're going to do, we're going to play this clip and understand the audio is not that great, but I want you to pay particular attention to a couple of things that he says to Jim Mann. And as he walks out, take a look and watch as he walks out. And then we're going to come back and we're going to tie some things together that we think you need to know of what's actually happening right before your eyes. And we're going to go ahead and bring this clip up now for everybody to see if I can get my mouse working. Let's go ahead and add this to the stream, and we're going to play this clip right now.
After that letter, did you go back to him and say you made a mistake? No, you filed the thing. Huh? Well, if y'all vote tonight, I guarantee you the funds will not be turned over. He's leaving. If y'all vote tonight, I guarantee you the funds will not be turned over because it's still in the public. Matter of fact, I hope y'all vote for me. You'll find out.
Comments there was according, you will find out, you will not get the money. Now,
well, did we really think they were going to? Here's the thing, Jeff. When somebody who had been in a position for less than 2 months was able to go and close a bank account that was open for 31 years, we know that there was potential disaster ahead. Now, we don't know how much money they have stolen at this point, because we've got a new chairman, we've got a new treasurer, just like the judge said we had to have to get the money back.
Okay.
Now, and the deadline was December 2nd. December 5th, we have in place the officers we're supposed to have, and they've refused to turn over the money. So now it's stolen.
Let me add to that. Last night, the individual who took or has our money is the chairman of the Republican Party of Greenville County. Last night, that gentleman decided to join the Oconee County Conservatives. And there is Matt Durham. Everyone, please welcome Chairman Republican Party of Greenville County, Jeff Davis, to the group. Jeff is a conservative who has been fighting the same battle against the Rhino establishment as we have.
So birds of a feather flock together. It won't be long. It won't be long until they reach out to the Horry County QAnon nuts to join their group too. And this is going to be a state level fight that Drew McKissick and the state Republicans are going to have to fight.
How
And
did
that's
this
okay.
Jeff Davis get the money from our Republican Party? Can you elaborate on that? How did that happen?
Yeah, they gave it to them. Those folks said, here, they're going to hand off the money, and it'll just be that much harder
Okay.
for the new
Why couldn't they have
Republican
handed
Party.
off? Why couldn't they have handed it off to somebody in Pickens County or Anderson County? Why did it
Hey,
have to go to
the
Greenville?
The SCGOP said Tyler could hold it. Tyler Jordan could hold it. It could have went to Pickens, it went to Anderson County. It went to Greenville because that guy has
There's
been
a tie.
strings in our party
Yep.
ever since the last reorg. He's been connected to the OCC.
Yep.
You know what? Let me offer one observation.
Okay.
Okay, so, and you know what? I'm not a part of that party. I'm just talking about it objectively. With what I'm seeing is you have a group that thinks the law does not apply. Now, we saw what happened in magistrate court. They're now in violation of an order. And now they're grandstanding by grabbing some guy from Greenville. I don't know. So basically, in the end, there's only one thing they understand, and that's going to be the law. Unfortunately, that's what's got to happen. You're going to have to get a lawyer, a good lawyer, and you're going to have to file, and there's going to have to be financial sanctions to get these people that actually cause these issues and that thumb their nose, give the finger at the law. We're all governed by the law. If some judge told me what I had to do, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to do it because I want to get sanctioned and all of a sudden be in trouble. That's what you got to do. And you got to be hard-nosed about it. You got to let them do their job. You get the right counsel. And then for the good of society, you have to be very, very harsh and pushing for the right sanctions. Otherwise, I saw this video. I saw this guy walking out. You've got one guy in this community, and we all know his name, and I'm not going to dignify it, who is spouting all this crap, and he's inciting people. He's inciting people to the point that, and called us the enemy. People can get hurt. And when you have people like that want to rule and destroy people and tell people to get screwed, we're going to do what we want. If you do not react harshly within the law and make sure there's a big penalty to be paid, you're never going to achieve it. Never.
Randy, I want to finish your comments of what you think about this, and then I want to tie another part to this.
So you're absolutely right, Chris. Them holding the money going to stifle the party to the point where reorg won't be able to happen in the spring. We won't be able to reorganize the party because we won't be able to afford a facility to hold 400 people. So when they come back to take the party over, they when they bring those folks, there's not going to be a place to do it.
Absolutely.
Well, the only reason there's not going to be a place to do it is because they have our money. And then we're going to have a convention to follow up the very next month. So that's two big events, two major county events, and we have no money. And no way. And now, do we spend our time trying to figure out how to raise money to make that reorg happen, or do we figure out how to raise money to pay for that lawyer to get the $18.20 that they haven't already spent on whatever, and to get that back?
Well, guys, right. I think this is beyond, and I've had several conversations with a lot of folks for the last couple of days, and it's pretty clear to me discussing all of this with the public that, for example, this has gone beyond politics. This has gone beyond. This has gone beyond being a Republican. It's gone beyond being a Democrat issue. It's gone to somebody or 5 individuals or maybe more that are on a power trip for some reason. They're wanting all of this power for some reason, and it's beyond a Republican. It's beyond a Democratic issue. It is pure evil. And speaking of evil, the whistle sucker's back, by the way.
Wait, let me just say one last thing.
Go ahead.
This is quick, I promise. Okay, so you talk about these people doing this. You know, the thing is, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I have no idea. They're misguided, and what's happened is they're on a roll, and then it gets more inflated, more inflated. These are people that have families. These are people that have careers. These are people that are carrying insurance for their families to take care of their children, and they're doing this. I, in a million years, would never, ever risk my family and being able to take care of them with this type of stunt. This is scary. There's something wrong here. And when people make those kinds of judgments, do something like this, I am thinking one of them is going to do something. They're going to hurt somebody, or they're going to get hurt, and that is bad because the family suffers, and it just is beyond my understanding. Somebody's got to calm them down. It's going to have to be the courts.
Kathy, our good friend and partner in crime, checks in. She says, so they defied the court order. By all indications, they did, didn't they, Rainey?
Yeah, I mean, the court order said they had 10 days from the court date to facilitate the turnover, and that was to give the money to another party in the party. Now, so maybe they didn't defy that part of the court order, but now when the guys from Greenville decide they don't want to give it back because they don't believe that we followed our part of the court order, then that's where we're going to have trouble. So it's going to be a lawsuit at that level between the state party and the Greenville party, which sets up Jeff Davis to go head to head with Drew McKissick in this political battle that he's been wanting for a while.
Well, it's a game.
It's a political chess game.
And it's crazy because it has legal ramifications.
But what we really got to watch, though, on the national side of Republican Party is who's going to get picked for RNC chairman and co-chairman in January. Now, if the few nuts have enough voice at that level,
the pillow guy wants it.
If they have enough voice at the national level to bring in those extreme right people into the party to lead the party, then the whole party will fall. So every Republican in Oconee County needs to be writing Drew McKissick a letter next week, expressing to him the fact that we've got three votes from South Carolina for the RNC chairman and co-chairman. And we need to be very, very, very damn careful
of who we do. Okay, I want to go ahead while we've got just a few more minutes left in our program. And, of course, the whistle sucker has been striking here lately. And he feels the need to strike against the Republican email list. And these are just some of the comments so that when you see us talk about this on Facebook, I want you to understand these are legitimate things that this individual is doing. Of course,
time and attention.
Well, I do. I want to clarify and show what we're dealing with on a daily basis of just what that little small, significant, little tiny person thinks he's doing when really he's just making an ass out of himself. I really, at this point, don't really care. He's a non-issue for me.
We live in South Carolina. We live in South Carolina. We deal with gnats all the time. We know how to fix the gnat problem. Walk into the sun and the gnats go away. Just stand up and move out into the sun, be in the open, be honest, be clear. And guess what? They have nothing. These things here they absolutely know there's nothing else they can do to influence people in the county. So now they're going to try to break down with any salvo that they thought they had before. And this little-minded, small organ, effeminate man that is doing this just makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Kathy brings up something really interesting. Our broadcast partner, our little friend. Why didn't he give it to Thomas Alexander?
That's really good.
He's a member. Yes, he's president of the Senate. Trustworthy to hold the funds.
He held a delegate position because he's a delegate in the county party. He could certainly have had.
He
They could have given it to Sandifer.
Well, that would have never happened.
Well,
but
he's a
they
good
could.
guy.
I know they could have gave it to Thomas Alexander. They could have gave it to Bill Whitmire. But yet they decided to give it to someone that is already going head to head with the state GOP. That is already.
It's been this. They set this up just the way they wanted to.
Yeah.
It's what it's supposed to be, and unfortunately, that group is going to be the fall guy for the big story, and then they're going to be like, "How come we're the victims again?"
Yeah, it's going to be playing
so
the
bad.
victim.
You guys did this to us. We didn't know.
Maybe.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
That's if they fail. That will be the story.
They will.
But you got to have a penalty. There's got to be a penalty.
But Chris, they're failing right now because all of what the rhetoric that they continue to spew and continue to say and trying to drag traction, and people are tired of it. I mean, how many comments today have we seen on our Facebook page? They consider them a no-brainer, that they're tired of these people.
They are, but here's the thing. They don't care if they're tired. These people that are doing this don't care. They're going to do it anyways.
Ask yourself the question, what is it to gain? What is in it for them?
But what you're trying to do is think about it from a mature viewpoint.
Right. That's exactly right. That's what I've been saying.
You can't.
Be mature. You can't figure them out because you don't think like a moron.
And if you actually understand, then that's even worse. The only thing they understand is brute force, which has to be implemented by the courts, because at the point when they fear they're going to lose their own assets or some of it, it will change. And that's what happens. That's the law.
No, what they understand is, are y'all guys ready for this? It's all about lake people.
Well, it could be.
Well, then why didn't they give the money to the lake person? I would have held it. I mean,
they could have given it. Hey, they could have gave it to John Elliott.
Why John Elliott? I want it.
But listen, folks. Listen. At the end of the day, the Republican Party is no different than the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, the Elks Club, the Lodge, any of that stuff. It's a social club for people to come together with like minds to have a good time, raise money to support candidates for positions in state, local, and national elections. If you come there and you don't feel welcome or you're just mad about everything, voice your opinion in a civil manner. People will listen. But if they think that it's a dumb idea, they're not gonna take it on board. But as long as I'm chairman, I'll rule this place. Well, that's not going to cut it in any organization whatsoever. You can't even run the trash dump that way.
Yeah, but what if you were in the Navy and you would have told somebody that your boss when he disagreed with what?
I tell you what, I've seen so many commanders and command triads, the top three, the CO, the XO, and the CMC, get relieved for negative command climates because of whatever they were doing. The crew was displeased. The crew wasn't working well. They'll just remove the head, replace the head with someone that can change the culture, change the climate, and move them on. That's what we did. Republican Party. This guy was destroying the climate, destroying the culture, destroying everything with his attitude, with his shenanigans, with his thugs and his cronies and their shenanigans. It's all about personality and doing dumb shit.
I want to say one thing, because he's going to cut us off because he's got his mouse up there.
No, that's Jeffy. That's my alter ego.
Yeah, but you're doing that because you know you're winding up. I want to get this out quick. So, Randy, you're 100% right. 100% right. And when you go into an organization in business, It's the same thing. And when you're running large projects, it doesn't take long to figure out where the cancer is. People, and what happens is they are allowed to carry that, and you have to remove them because they destroy the rest of the team. And this is what's happening here.
Here's the beauty of this whole thing. That group came into the social club, decided they want to change the dynamics of the social club. Well, they changed the rules. They said no more breakfast, no more dinners, no more having a good time. Morale is secured. Well,
yeah, you can't do anything.
It's America, and guess what? You can do anything you want, Jeff.
Right, I know.
You know how you don't get hit by a train in Westminster?
You don't get run over. Go walk to the railroad tracks.
Take 2 steps to the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the good people of the party did. Was they stepped to the right of the OCC and created a men's group. The women's group had already been there.
Yep.
Right? They said, you know what? You're not going to stop us from socializing. You're not going to stop us from picking candidates. You're not going to stop any of that stuff. We're just not following you because you suck as a leader. So they stepped over here and created their own thing behind Jose and a good group of board of directors over doing great things. Now, we get the reorg in the spring. And if it goes the same way and they bring people down there and do that, the same thing's going to happen. That core group of people that likes to have a good time, likes to raise money, likes to get behind candidates, don't want to censure Lindsey Graham, don't want to censure half of the county council and go up there and throw rocks at the school board. They're just going to move and create the Silver Elephant Club. And they're going to be, we're the Silver Elephant Republicans of the county, and this is how we feel. They're going to still have their voice. They're still going to do their things. And then the OCRP is going to be sitting there being led by Mickey Haney or whoever they put up there next going, why doesn't anybody come to our meetings? Why? Why? Well, nobody wants to hang out with you. That's why. Nobody.
Hey, who's going to contribute money?
Chris Ruin.
But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to cost you $250 to join the Republican Silver Elephant Club for the county. That's money. That's support. That's going to get behind a councilman. That's going to get behind a state representative. You know, it cost Bill Sanford $66,000 to run his campaign, according to the Candy Eater. We're going to have to help him if he wants to do it again.
All right, finally, guys, I got one more news story before we go. It was actually good to see that Governor McMaster has stepped in over in Pickens City, and they have suspended the city councilman.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That was effective. Was it yesterday that they finally? I believe it was yesterday. So they're now.
He's got his right to day in court.
Well, I dread April coming here in Oconee County, because it's going to be really tough doing a reorg and a trial at the same time. And I hope the friends at the newspapers hired more reporters, because they're going to need them.
I was talking to one of them guys over there, and he said it's going to be so busy during that time that we're going to have to write our own stories and submit them.
Oh, I like that.
Don't give Ruin any more ideas, because he's already trying to take the show over. He's
for real, though. Everything. But for real, we got Lawyer Lori just talked about this guy and his sexual whatever with a teenager. We got this damn school employee touching up kids. What's going on? Whatever happened to a group of adults getting together, touching each other? Leave kids alone.
Oh, that's a good one, but I missed it. But I know
hang
it's probably
that pineapple upside down on the wall and go to town. Leave the children be. Leave the livestock alone. What the hell's wrong with y'all?
Dang,
Stop
man.
it.
You're freaky, man. You're a freak. You're a freaky guy.
That's all I'm saying. And then you got somebody mad about upside down pineapple cake or whatever. That's because he's always so professionally mad. He's never been invited to a party.
Oh shit!
Get the hell out of here! I'm done.
I can't top that. That was epic. We are now legends. I'm holding on
Legend.
to- I'm holding
I
on
want
to
to be
it.
legend of the upside down pineapple cake.
You just want, do you want to pop up out of a cake as a pineapple?
No, I want to hit the cherries on the top with my fingers. Woo!
God, this show has wow. What can I say?
Hey, so what do you think of the beer?
Hey,
No.
you know what? They're out there talking about all these people that did a little something or whatever back in the day. I mean, hell, I was in the Navy for 20 years. I probably did stuff that made Charlie Sheen blush. But hey, I'm too old and crippled now to even think about it. I like to think about it, but I can't do nothing about it.
Now, you know what? I couldn't say shit that would extend this show, but old Jeff is sitting there thinking, well, hey, this is a pretty good show. Let's keep it going. Shit. Thanks, man.
This is a ratings boost here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just remember, leave the children alone.
Alone.
Oh, he didn't even grab his mouse out anymore with that mouse behind him.
That's not a
Trying
mouse.
to protect the children.
You know what? I think somebody's got to say something. You know what, Randy? Randy, you're kind of freaky, boy. You're like a freak. You're like a freak.
I'm in my daughter's brand new car. I just bought her. I ain't got no puppies. I ain't got nothing. I'll show you my food city cup, man. This is what
Oh, God. You know what?
This is what the progressives did in Virginia. They turned Piggly Wiggly into Food City.
Well, by the way, Bond, you were in the weeds. Damn the flu from Kathy.
Well, you know what I say, what we do at Harvard, we don't do that kind of stuff like I say.
You're not from Harvard. You're a
I
cab
am
driver.
from Harvard. I am from Harvard.
I live on the lake.
Young man, I am from Harvard, so please.
I live on the lake.
Well, I got to tell you right now, I parked my daughter's car beside my truck, and it's like I'm looking out here waiting on it to rev its engines and blow smoke on me, but I don't think it will. I don't know. I'm having a little PTSD from the parking lot back there at the place was whatever, but but for real though, what is wrong with these people?
Well, I've been studying at the greatest universities in the world, and I just think they're crazy myself. But that's what we think at Harvard. Harvard.
Sounds like you've taken a course at the University of the OCC.
Why is that, sir?
Because that's the way you look. I mean, that beard. I mean, if you get that beard way down to here, you'll definitely like an OCCer. You'll blend right in.
Hey, but make sure you take one of your old work shirts from one of the companies you used to work for, roll around in the yard in it before you go out to lunch tomorrow.
No, not in Harvard.
You're full of it, y'all.
Okay.
Rainey.
Hey, wait. We're having another show, aren't we?
Yes, we are going to have one more show. Let me look here, guys, while we're here. That way we can just go ahead and set the date. Next, are you good for next Wednesday, or you need to move it to Thursday, Rainey?
Well, I'm probably leaving town, heading to Texas. Y'all can go wherever, but I'm going to Texas. That's what Davy Crockett said.
Okay, so you're going to be gone next week?
From Wednesday on, but I tell you what I'll do. I tell you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'll make sure that I'm in a 5-star amenity that's got good internet,
chandeliers, and it has to have a white tablecloth.
It'll all be there. I'll be on the road, but I'll pull off. I'll take a break. We'll do the show. I'll show people around, and I'm going to get in the hot tub.
You want to do the show from the hot tub?
I don't see why not.
I think
can find amenities to do it.
I think that's a great idea.
I'll have my suspenders on my swimming trunks, and I'm gonna be floating some pineapples in the pool.
Hey, I'm from Harvard, and I live on the lake, and I eat on linen, and I have a chandelier.
Pardon me, my lord. Do you have any grapple pond?
Oh,
So
yes.
Jeff, I would like to do the show next Thursday instead of Wednesday if that's possible.
Next Thursday?
Right. I'll stay in Dallas. I'll stay at the Hilton over in Grapevine. They've got good internet.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't do Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm sure everybody loves hearing this. I tell you what, it depends on what the elitists tell me I should do.
I can't do Thursday because I've got 2 events Thursday night.
Well, why don't I just do a show by
I'll do it
myself?
from. Hell, I guess I'll do it from.
You guys don't have to. You guys don't have to be there.
Can you? I tell you what. Here's what I want you to do. Can you go to Catahoula, Louisiana, and do a show? Because Bud likes Catahoula, Louisiana. That's his home place, and he would like for you to go around and visit some of his friends.
Well, I tell you what. Send me a dot on the map. I'll go there. That's where we'll do it. So.
It's the Catahoula Parish of Louisiana County. That's where they came from, the Catahoulas.
Well, okay. I'll look for it. That's where I'll try to make it there by 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And
be 6 your time, 7 my time. That's right. You're an hour behind out that way.
Right.
Okay, Rainey. Thoughts and prayers with you, my friend.
Hey, appreciate you, bud.
Chris,
all right, be careful. Thank you.
All right.
Hi. There you go. Fist bump. Fist bump.
All right. Stay where you're at, and I'll be right back on the other side. All right. That's going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you, as always, for watching here. Let's Talk Oconee SC. We'll be back sometime next week. We don't know when, but just keep watching on Facebook because we will tell you what you need to know when you need to know it. Right here on Let's Talk Oconee. Let's Talk Oconee SC. Have a good night, everybody.